people could buy it. Well, last night I decided this was all ridiculous, and it was time to name the two royals implicated in those racism claims. They are, as I said last night, King Charles, Prince Charles as he was then, and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. I did that for several reasons. First, the speculation was once again raging out of control, as it has for 2.5 years. Second, it made no sense that Dutch journalists and Dutch people who bought copies before the publisher withdrew them would know these names, members of our royal family, when the British people were prevented from knowing them. Thirdly, once you know the names, it becomes blindingly obvious to anyone with even half a brain that these allegations are ridiculous. Whatever your view of the monarchy, I don't think any serious person really believes that anything they've seen or heard from King Charles or the Princess of Wales suggests they have even the tiniest racist bone in their bodies, or would judge anybody according to the shade of their skin. And once again, it's worth remembering what Prince Harry eventually said about these accusations when he was promoting his book. And before we play the clip, just to remind you, after launching this racist bombshell 2.5 years ago, it never got mentioned again. Not in the 6-part Netflix series, which mentioned everything else in their lives. Not in the 12-part podcasts for Spotify that Meghan Markle did, never mentioned. And it never got mentioned in Harry's over 400-page book, 150,000 words of stuff about his entire life, but not a mention of the supposed racism by members of his own family, which he had launched as a missile against that family on Oprah Winfrey. So this is what he said to Tom Bradby at ITN at the start of this year when promoting the book where he didn't mention it.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't.
Well, of...
The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they're racist?
She said there were troubling comments about...
Yeah, there was concern about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't, not having lived within that family.
God, he's such a dimwit, isn't he? He's just dim as ditch water. He literally thinks we're going to watch the clips back from Oprah and not think that she was saying that the royal family had been racist. How dumb does he think we are? So Harry performs this dramatic U-turn. Oh, it was we never meant to suggest they were racist. It was the terrible British press. They were the ones who said it was racism. We just meant unconscious bias. You know what that's become a euphemism?
What the hell?
For? We actually haven't got any evidence of someone being racist. We just think it's kind of unconscious, on the sly, right? It's kind of there, but we can't prove it. It's like we think they might be. Yeah, not good enough. Not when it comes to members of the royal family, whose reputations are on a global stage. So why should I stand back and let a proven liar like Omid Scobie, a man who claims in this book as a fact that I have regular phone chats with...
Here it comes.
Queen Camilla. Regular. Do you know how many times I've spoken to Queen Camilla on the phone in my entire 58-year life? 0. Not once. It's not just not regular. It's never happened. We've never had a phone chat. So he's a liar. And he lied again about when apparently I called Meghan Markle Princess Pinocchio on that fateful last day of Good Morning Britain. Apparently Camilla immediately contacted me to thank me on behalf of the firm. No, she didn't. Another lie. Complete lie. So Scobie's prepared to lie about me, about these little things, which don't really amount to a row of beans. Why should we believe anything else he has to say? All he's doing is dragging the whole royal family through the mud all over again, reigniting these racism charges because he wants to sell books and make money. Well, Scobie gave another interview this morning, which he again denied working with Meghan Markle, and he also denied ever using the names in any draft of his book.
I'm as frustrated as everyone else. I make it very clear in this book that I, in every way possible...
Wait for it.
...want to adhere to the laws surrounding this subject. It's why I've been very careful in how it's described in the book, and it's why I've never spoken about it beyond what I've said in the public domain before. The reality
So that was a f***ing lie.
is, though, is that this is information that is not privy just to me.
A liar. A barefaced liar. He wants us to believe that he only submitted a
What the hell?
draft in the English version which never mentioned the names, but that somebody in the Netherlands got hold of it and added the names and added entire paragraph in one part of this
Wait for it.
into the manuscript before it went to the printers. A lethal saboteur. Who would do that? Have you ever met any author in history, because I haven't,
Stop it.
who's had that happen to their manuscript? That on the way to the printers in a foreign country like the Netherlands, they got into the manuscript and changed it without the author knowing anything about it? No. It doesn't pass what we call the smell test. Mr. Scobie stinks when it comes to the smell test. Now, he thinks I'm completely wrong to assume an earlier version of his book included the names and was sent for translation, only for his lawyers to take them
Stop it.
out of the final edition, which I think is the most likely explanation. It's therefore rather inconvenient for him that the Dutch translator has told reporters tonight that she'd only translated what was written down on the manuscript. She said the names of the royals were there in black and white. I didn't add them. I just did what I was paid to do, and that was translate the book from English into Dutch. Now, at this point, the deafening silence from Harry and Meghan becomes a little more than deafening. It becomes pretty shameful, because they usually race to condemn and denounce any press reports that we dislike, particularly if it involves any leaks from private correspondence. And Meghan Markle, but the book has now come out within 3 months of the Queen dying. And there is his response to the death of our great monarch, is within 3 months to do a book which causes severe damage to the institution that she represented so magnificently for over 70 years.
I totally agree. And Piers, you remember those boys growing up. You saw them grow up. You came to Kensington Palace. Now, in those days,
Wait for it.
Diana always had the final word. So I'm going to leave you with my words, which I think Diana would be saying right now. She'd be saying to Harry, jumping up and down, wanting to be noticed, shh, Harry.
You serious?
Be quiet.
Yeah, you do wonder who on earth is having that conversation with him. Well, let's go to Trisha Goddard. So, Trisha, you were there on Good Morning Britain on the day, the morning after the Oprah Winfrey interview aired. We had a pretty lively series of exchanges on that show. As you know, I left Good Morning Britain the next day because I was asked to apologise for disbelieving her claims of racism. I said I wanted to see evidence of this so-called racism. We now learn from Harry's own mouth that they did not call the royal family racist after all. So I'm not quite sure why.